Demontower, released in 2017 as part of Infinity Fall's critically acclaimed Night in the Woods, is quite possibly the most entertaining minigame that I have ever had the good fortune to play. Although caked in classic arcade influences and throwing in some roguelike elements for good measure, the game also utilises a lot of the zoomorphic artistic choices in Night in the Woods to offer 10 levels of straight up dungeon crawling insanity, presenting a situation that is entirely perplexing. A minigame that has more game than the minigame's actual game. What? So, taking the role of the suitably courageous Pale Cat, a character that remains mysterious and offers little personality, your job is simple. Armed with nay but a sword, you must climb the steps of Demontower. As you might expect from a title of the dungeon crawling genre, you make your way through the game collecting keys and defeating bosses as the levels continue to become increasingly more difficult, dodging fireballs and lava and traps and all your other basic arcade shit that we know and love from literal decades of tried and tested gameplay. Also, as expected, you come into contact with a neat variety of opponents, from ghouls to skeletons to mages to these fucking irritating little shits. They ping pong around throwing knives, and it's fine when there's one or two. Just keep backing up and time your attacks when appropriately, but if the RNG rolls poorly and there's suddenly 4 or 5 of them, you're going to have a really bad day. Actually, this is an element to Demontower that ends up resulting in a lot of the game's challenge. The random number generator can flip from being reasonably generous to downright fucking aggravating. What is this? 6 strong guards? Really? To elaborate on how irritating this is, the strong guards are, shock horror, stronger and faster than your typical regular guards that are an absolute cakewalk to deal with by comparison. 1 or 2 of these guys? Sure, not a problem. They also drop health when you kill them, which is a nice additional incentive to wipe these walking annoyances off the face of the earth. But 6 of them? That's just obscene! So, to counter these obstacles, you have 3 basic abilities, a dash, a strike, and a swift strike, which is effectively a combination of the two and can be very handy when faced with tougher enemies. However, as you proceed to tackle each corresponding level, you will notice that your health meter is decreasing, eventually dropping from 9 to 1, thus making the late game levels a rather tense affair, as the simplest mistake can cost you your progress and completely restart the level, especially when you get stuck in between an obstacle and some lava. That sucks! On the flip side, with every health bar you lose, you will notice that this has instead been replaced with an additional dash, effectively replacing a potentially tanky strategy for one that is far more focused on well-timed reactions and the simple matter of cheesing enemies by zipping past them before they can even register your existence. In fact, this is a strategy that is well worth bearing in mind. Most of the enemies you come across don't really need to be killed. Once you've played through the game a few times, in spite of the player and enemy spawns randomizing every time, you'll probably have a good idea of where the key is, and dashing over to it will render a lot of the enemies a moot point. I mean really, why bother risking the health? You might as well save it for the boss. You are going to need it. As for the game's overall visual design and soundtrack, it's kept simple and to the point. You're not going to be blown away by what you see here, but it's functional and still retains a lot of the personality seen throughout Night in the Woods' main gameplay, especially the music, a topic that I probably didn't touch on enough in the review. It's catchy and fits right in with Blood Tower's style. And to be honest, that's basically it for what little spoilers there are, which shouldn't surprise you. It's a minigame, you get what you pay for, which in this case is absolutely nothing because it's a minigame part of a larger title which is technically completely free! So, as mentioned before, you come across a number of bosses, and each of these require differing methods of approach, and these are usually distinctive enough to never feel too recycled or lazy. You'll either be dodging and weaving, or slaughtering decoy mobs before they can hoard you, or baiting an attack before grabbing the opportunity to deal returning damage. All standard ideas, but fun nonetheless. And there are a few bosses that were either memorable enough in design or offered enough challenge to be compelling. Honestly, most were a real blast to get through. While we're here, fuck it, let's take a gander. The first boss is... The second boss is this smashy bird dude. He spends most of his time trying to whack you with a sack of potatoes. He's easy enough to deal with. Bait him, hit him, get the hell out of there, rinse and repeat, done. The third boss ping-pongs around his Peter Pepper's Party Pentagram while spawning skeletons. Just keep on top of the mob and hit him when he stops, nice and simple. The fourth boss is effectively a meaner, speedier version of the second. He can dash a little, so you need to time your dodges more accurately than the first. Bait him, hit him, rinse and repeat. The fifth boss is a giant hairball. The sixth boss is effectively a beefier version of the mage. He chucks fireballs and ghosts at you while floating around. Nothing too crazy, just hit him when he stops. The seventh boss is an annoying little bastard. He dribbles lava around the place that you can't step on, and on top of this he shoots fireballs every now and then. And the lava doesn't disappear either, so you've got to kill him quick or you are going to run out of floor. The eighth boss is both my favourite and yet also the one I hated the most. Effectively a souped up version of the Ninja Boys, the eighth boss zips around all over the place with these awesome little horns and chucking knives here, there and everywhere, and my god, for one brief, beautiful moment I was getting fucking Zone of the Enders flashbacks. Screw it, montage time. So there actually isn't a ninth boss, but I got duped with a load of these idiots, so make of that what you will. And here we are, the final boss. A lean, mean, sword-wielding machine. Oh. Yeah, the final boss is maybe a little wimpy. Just back the little twerp into the wall, keep dodging his attacks, hit him when you can, rinse and repeat, and you've beaten the game. Not a thrilling final battle, but could have been worse, I guess. I doubt the developers intended the strategy to be what effectively comes down to backing your buddies into the corner of a beat-em-up game and just wailing on them until they run out of health. Plus, there's this. It's horrifying. And for murdering the fluffiest one, only the cheesiest, cheapest tactics will provide satisfaction, you Voldemort cosplaying bastard. Now again, much of this is being looked at through rather generous goggles as it is a minigame. It has to be remembered that the only reason this review even exists is simply due to what amounts to a labour of love. There is absolutely zero monetary incentive to hide the game in the bottom left hand corner of May's desktop. If the developers had truly wanted to profit from Demontower, they'd have sold it as optional DLC. But they didn't. Just snuck it in there as something fun. And it is with complete honesty that I state that I had a lot more fun playing Demontower than the entirety of Night in the Woods. Now that's not to say I think it's better than the main game, don't worry, put the pitchforks down, you motherfucker. But even so, there are still plenty of moments throughout Demontower that genuinely offered an entertaining experience. I spent a good 5-6 hours blasting my way through 10 levels of fun. And again, it's nothing revolutionary, just a straight to the point arcade title, hidden within another game. And when taking into account the sheer level of effort on display here, for a minigame? That's pretty commendable. Go play it.